Hello Aries, this is your love and relationship reading for July 2018. Alright, I'm going to cut the cards. Okay. Alright, the first card for you, Aries. Three of Wands. I have a King of Wands. Ooh, exciting. I have a Six of Pentacles. This is the Star in reverse. I have a Knight of Swords. This is a King of Swords. Interesting. It seems like this King of Wands, obviously wands represent fire, which is your energy. It seems like this King of Wands is about to go to war with this Knight and King of Swords. Intriguing. Okay. I have a Nine of Swords. The Magician. And then the Hermit. Okay. Very intriguing. And of course I'll pull the outcome card after the main reading. So yeah, very interesting what I'm seeing here. You start off with some fire energy with the Three of Wands and the King of Wands. But then the energy of these swords starts to come out. And it's basically, with the exception of this one pentacle, these wands going toe-to-toe with the swords. Swords represent air. And as you know, air nourishes fire, by the way. So maybe this is a more amplified energy for you, Aries. And so, yeah, all of a sudden these swords start showing up here. Maybe a little bit of anxiety, communication issues, needing to make a decision. And you also have an interesting combination of major arcana cards here. The Star is in reverse. And what that means, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes the Star, which is usually it's always a very optimistic card. Good things are on the way. You should be happy and joyful. Usually it's a good omen for the future. It's about having your wishes granted. So when it's reversed, it's not a big disaster that's coming your way. It just simply means that you've gone through a lot of obstacles and challenges, or you will be, and it's easy to lose hope or lose sight when your dreams are delayed, when the things you want are delayed. And so it's interesting how the Star is reversed, and then suddenly these swords come out as if to amplify the energy of this Star in reverse. A little bit of pessimism, a little bit of fear, but let me say this. The Knight of Swords, which is in the center of your spread, the Knight of Swords is about courage. It's about not being afraid to go head on with obstacles and fight those obstacles. The Knight of Swords is the energy of the Knight of Swords is simply about fighting back, not necessarily physically fighting back, but it reminds me of an inspirational quote where the biggest enemy that we will ever face is ourselves. the only problem that you'll ever have to solve is your your reaction to an obstacle. Most problems are not are problems because we choose to make them problems. We can choose to see obstacles or delays or disappointments as stepping stones to success, or we can let those things that get in our way to become insurmountable. And so the Knight of Swords is all about how we can choose to change how we see these obstacles, these blocks, these fears, this anxiousness about certain situations. I'm also very aware that for some of us, especially Aries, when we're betrayed or when someone hurts us, it's very easy to allow that hurt and that pain to sort of pull us back, to make us, more cynical about the world. But the Knight of Swords is about never losing hope, never giving up, and not letting a situation or circumstance change the way you feel about yourself. So it's interesting how the Knight of Swords, knights go to war, they go into battle, they're about action, but you do have this King of Swords here, and the King of Swords is sort of like, he's the one who gives the direction to the knights. He's the one who decides to go to war, and then the knights go out and fight for the king and the queen. And so I'm not necessarily choosing to see this as necessarily about going to war, as much as it's about you, Aries, sort of bucking up and pulling yourself out of this slump. That's kind of what I'm seeing here when I see that star in reverse. So going back here to this first row, yeah, lots of Wands energy. Three of Wands is about hope for the future. And then the King of Wands is like, yes, let's go get it. And the King of Wands is associated with Leo, but it's still fire energy. The King of Wands is determined, he's motivated, and fire energy is usually very motivating. When you hold that wand in your hand, nothing's impossible. You're taking power, you're taking control, you're the master of your own destiny here. And then you have a Six of Pentacles, which is about giving your time, giving your talents. And in relationship readings, it can be about spending time with someone. And I kind of feel like some of you have had the opportunity to be with a partner or a potential partner, and things are going quite well. And then we come here to the star, where maybe there was a disappointment, maybe this person backed off, maybe they ghosted you. And so when I see these swords following the star, I kind of see you trying to, like, yes, maybe this person rejected you, maybe they broke up with you, but I kind of see these swords as not just a psychological challenge, because air, the swords are representing air, and air is associated with our thinking, our decision making, and the way we perceive reality. I feel like this little minor setback in the relationship is going to sort of amplify you, Aries, as far as, because as I said, fire nourishes air, air nourishes fire. I kind of see some of you, Aries, still going back to deal with previous hurt and pain, dealing with your anxieties and fears. So interestingly enough, as we head into your future, you have that Nine of Swords, which is about, dealing with a lot of drama and anxiety. And sometimes it can mean that a partner is a vampire, a psychic vampire. This is someone who drains you, someone who never gives you a moment's peace. They're not reassuring. They chip away at your self-esteem. So yes, these three swords that all follow each other, I'm seeing it as you solving a problem, Aries. You trying to get back up on your feet. Maybe after an argument with your partner, a temporary breakup. I kind of see this as sort of like a problem that is not going to last forever. It's something that you are going to get past. So after this Nine of Swords, Aries, you get these very powerful, very encouraging cards. And you might say the Hermit means being alone. But no, the Hermit doesn't necessarily have to mean just being alone. The Hermit is about taking time out to contemplate and reflect and heal. And it's actually a very good partner. It's a very good partner with the swords, because the swords are about, once again, our psychological state, our fears and anxieties. And so when the Hermit comes along with the lantern in hand, following this magician who has the wand in hand, the Hermit is about taking time off to regroup before you go back into the struggles of your life and what you want to accomplish. And also, so when we get to this magician, he has a wand, just like you have that King of Wands. So understand, for this reading, Aries, you've got a lot of backup here. You've got these wands paired with the swords in hand. And when the singular sword is in hand, it means making a decision. It means having a discussion. It means clarity and truth. And when you get the singular wand in hand, that's the oracle saying, never give up hope, never be defeated. It all comes down to you. So, interesting future here, because I see you dealing with a lot of the drama, or some of you are dealing with fights or arguments or disagreements. And I see the power of the magician and the Hermit coming along as if to say, you're going to fight back. You're not going to allow yourself to go to that bad place again. Because I do feel like some of you Aries had a really bad relationship in the past. I kind of feel from the readings I've done this year for some of you Aries that you have had a big setback in a relationship, maybe a divorce or a breakup or a betrayal. And you're now sort of putting your lives back together. And you have these stop-starts, and sometimes things are going great, and then just when you think you're going to get past it, all of a sudden you have another obstacle. So I wouldn't feel defeated, Aries, especially with your potential partners or love interests. It feels as if you win some, you lose some, and you shouldn't let that change how you see the big picture, meaning a happy life with a partner, things finally falling into place for you. So I'm pulling in the outcome card now. Look at what I get here. I get a 10 of Cups. Nice. So yes, a regrouping here. Some of you need to take time out to regroup from a very toxic relationship. But in the long term, as you head into August, September, I think you're going to feel much happier about where your relationships are going, and problems will be resolved. Okay, so that was my reading, Aries. And just a note, take advantage of my special for the entire summer until after Labor Day. My personal video readings, which are usually $20, will be $15 for the month for all of July, August, and September. So I encourage you to check it out, especially if you've never gotten a video reading from me. You get to get your own personal video reading just like this for $15. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for your care, your concern. I always appreciate all the wonderful compliments about the readings. As usual, I'm just so happy that these readings are bringing you hope and clarity and perspective. So thank you. I as always, I wish you love and light, and I hope we get to have um, a lot of fun this summer. So just take note also, if you want to be a Patron sponsor for $1 a month, I have a lot of wonderful things planned for my sponsors, super chats, free readings, and I'm going to officially start my tarot school this July as well. So I will have video instruction for tarot if you're interested. So please consider that for $1 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee you could get at 7-Eleven. And I really appreciate the support some of you have already given me as far as my tarot reading. So I always appreciate it. So as I said, take care. I wish you love and light, and I hope I get to talk to you this summer.